Ready to turn your static content into an interactive showcase that catches the eye? Carousel Widget from Premium Addons for Elementor lets you present any kind of content, whether it's client testimonials that share real experiences or detailed showcases of your featured projects, even full introductions to your team members. It's also compatible with other Elementor widgets like Google Maps, so you can create a carousel that highlights multiple locations in a smooth, interactive display. I'm Andrew from LeapWorks, and in this tutorial, I'll walk you through how to use Carousel Widget step by step. Before we begin, please make sure your WordPress site has Elementor and Premium Addons for Elementor plugins installed and activated. Also, don't forget to enable the Carousel widget from Premium Addons control panel. Once that's done, open your page with Elementor Editor and search for Premium Carousel Widget. Then drag it onto your selected container. Now it's time to build your slides. First, notice Source drop-down at the top. You can choose between templates, containers, or image gallery depending on the type of content you want to display. Let's start with templates containers. This option is perfect when you want to display rich, fully designed content inside each slide. Once selected, click Add Item to create your first slide. Each one opens a template item where you'll see an inner source sub-option with two choices, templates or container ID. If you choose templates, each slide can be built using Template Live Editor, where you can easily design or edit your layout directly in Elementor. No switching back and forth between screens. To learn more about how Template Live Editor global feature works, you can check out the tutorial video linked in the top right corner. If you already have saved templates, you can simply pick one from the drop-down menu. I've already designed a testimonial template earlier, so let's go ahead and select it together. Now I'll repeat the same steps to add 2 more slides. With just a few clicks, you've got a professional-looking carousel ready to go. Custom Navigation Element Selector lets you link external elements to specific slides in the carousel. It's an easy way to let users move through the content by clicking elements outside the carousel itself. Let's take a quick example to see how it works. I'll add 3 premium button widgets, each with an author name, to navigate to that author's review in the carousel. I'll give each button a unique ID. For example, slide 1 for the first, slide 2 for the second, and slide 3 for the third. Then, for each slide in the carousel, I'll enter the matching ID into Custom Navigation Element Selector field, making sure to add hashtag before it. So for the first slide, it'll be hashtag slide 1, the second hashtag slide 2, and so on. Now clicking the first button takes us to slide 1, the second jumps to slide 2, and the third goes to slide 3. It's quick to set up and doesn't require any code. Let's take it a step further with a more advanced example that shows how Custom Navigation Element Selector works across different widgets. In this container, I have Premium Carousel widget with 4 repeater slides, and here, I have Premium Google Maps widget with 4 different locations. Now I will link each slide of those with a specific location in my Google Maps using Custom Navigation Element Selector. Let's see how easily this could be done. Begin by assigning a unique ID to each slide, like hashtag Starbucks 1 for the first slide, hashtag Starbucks 2 for the second, and so on. Next, go to the map settings, open the map pins repeater item, and add the same IDs you used for the slides in the Custom Navigation Element Selector field. One final step makes everything work together. In the Map widget, go to the Controls tab and look for Connected Carousel Widget ID. Enter the ID of your carousel there, for example, Maps Carousel. Then, open the Carousel's Advanced tab and paste in that same ID. Now clicking on a slide in the carousel will open its relevant pin on Google Maps and vice versa. Now let's look at the second inner source option, Container ID. If you choose Container ID, instead of building or selecting a template, you simply enter the CSS ID of a container that already exists on your page. The widget will pull that container's content directly as a slide. Let's take an example. Here I have 3 containers already built on this page. Each one is a fully designed slide layout. I'll go ahead and give each one a unique CSS ID from the Container's Advanced tab. So the first container gets slide 1, the second gets slide 2, and the third gets slide 3. Now I'll add a new container and set its direction. Then I'll make it full width and full height, and remove any padding to give the carousel all the space it needs. Then I'll search for Premium Carousel Widget and drag it inside this container. Now I will add 3 items, and for each slide in the carousel, I'll select Container ID as the source and enter the matching CSS ID. Slide 1 for the first, slide 2 for the second, and slide 3 for the third. And just like that, all 3 containers now appear as slides inside the carousel. No templates needed. This is especially useful when you want to reuse existing page sections as carousel slides. Edit the container once, and it updates everywhere automatically. Now let's look at the second main source option, Image Gallery. If you choose it, instead of templates or containers, you get a dedicated images uploader where you can select multiple images at once directly from your WordPress media library. Once your images are added, use the resolution to control the image's quality. Next, there's Equal Height Control. Enabling this toggle forces all images to display at the same height, keeping your layout consistent and clean even if your original images have different dimensions. You can also add links to your images using Add Item button. Links will be applied in the same order as your selected gallery images, so the first link goes to the first image, the second to the second, and so on. Let's go deeper to discover the other options. The Carousel widget supports both horizontal and vertical navigation styles. Each navigation type offers a unique layout, giving you flexibility in how content is displayed. Next, control how many slides appear on each device. Using desktop slides, you can set how many slides are visible at once on desktop screens. Tab slides controls the same for tablet screens. And mobile slides does the same for mobile, giving you full independent control over the layout on every screen size without touching a single line of CSS. You can also control slide behavior on different screen sizes using scroll behavior settings. If you choose the All Visible option, the carousel will scroll the number of slides you've specified. For example, if you have 4 slides and set 2 to appear, it will scroll 2 slides at a time. Alternatively, selecting 1 at a time makes the carousel scroll 1 slide at a time, moving the carousel by a single slide. You can also apply this to tablets and mobile devices as well. Spacing slider controls the gap between your slides. I'll drag it to add some breathing room between the testimonial cards. Keep adjusting the value until it feels just right for your design. See how the slides spread apart nicely as you move the slider. Now let's take a look at Overflow Slides option. It allows you to show a subtle preview of the next and previous slides just outside the main slide area. For example, I have a carousel with a set of images here. When I enable Overflow Slides control, you'll notice part of the next image peeking in from the side. This gives users a visual hint that there's more to explore and encourages them to keep scrolling through the content. Thumbnail Slider Mode. Enabling this transforms your carousel into a thumbnail-driven experience, where a strip of thumbnail previews appears, letting users jump directly to any slide by clicking its thumbnail. Next is Mouse Tilt Effect. When enabled, the carousel slides subtly tilt as the user moves their mouse over them, adding a modern, interactive depth effect to your content. Then reverse. Enabling this flips the tilt direction, so the slides tilt in the opposite direction as the mouse moves, giving you a contrasting motion style. Additionally, you can enable Magic Scroll to make the elements move on scroll. For example, you can create a scrolling image gallery like this that moves along with the user's scroll. Let's see how to make that work. I'll follow the same steps as before to add a new carousel. But this time, instead of testimonial templates, I'll use templates that consist of images I've already saved in my Elementor template library. Now I'll click Add Item to create the first slide, select Templates as the source, and pick my image template from the existing templates dropdown. Don't forget to enable the Magic Scroll option and duplicate the Elementor template to get an infinite scroll effect. Then go to the Advanced tab, scroll down to Premium Magic Scroll Addon, turn it on, add a new item, and select Carousel Scroll for the animation. This will make the carousel move as you scroll. Next, I'll set the Translate X value to -300 to move the images horizontally. I'll also set the scrub value to 1.5, which makes the animation move smoothly with the scroll. Then, I'll duplicate the carousel and change the template. As mentioned earlier, be sure to duplicate your Elementor template to create a seamless infinite scroll effect. Next, I'll go to the Advanced tab and enable reverse animation to create a contrasting motion. I'll also change the start animation to top of the element with an offset of 85%. This starts the animation just before the carousel is fully visible. Finally, I'll duplicate the first carousel again and change the template. But this time, I'll set the offset to 0%, making the animation start immediately as the carousel comes into view. Let's hit Publish and Preview. Now as you scroll, the gallery moves with you, each row animating in a different direction for a dynamic, layered scrolling effect. By the way, if you want to learn more about Magic Scroll, check out our Magic Scroll series, where we cover everything you need to create scroll-based scenes in Elementor without any coding skills. You will find the link is in the description below. Now let's go deeper and explore the rest of the widget settings. Let's start with the Thumbnail Slider tab. This only appears when you enable Thumbnail Slider mode from the Carousel tab. At the top, you'll find the Thumbnails Image Uploader. This is where you upload the images that will appear in the thumbnail strip below the main carousel. You can use image resolution to control the quality of the thumbnail images and object fit to control how they fill their container. Position lets you control where the thumbnail strip sits relative to the main carousel. You can place it to the right, bottom, left, or top. Just click the matching arrow button to set it. You can also enable floating thumbnails to overlay the thumbnail strip directly on top of the main carousel instead of sitting outside it, giving your design a more compact and immersive look, just like you see here. Next, item height controls the height of each thumbnail in the strip. Drag the slider and keep adjusting until the thumbnails feel perfectly balanced with the main carousel above. Similarly, slider width controls the overall width of the thumbnail strip. I'll set it to 700px here to match the width of the main carousel above it. Horizontal offset shifts the thumbnail strip left or right, and vertical offset pushes it up or down. Transition speed controls how fast the main carousel animates when a thumbnail is clicked. Keep it at a comfortable value so the transition feels smooth and natural without rushing the viewer. You can also enable autoplay slides to make the carousel and its thumbnails advance automatically without any user interaction. Once enabled, autoplay speed controls how long each slide stays visible before moving to the next. For example, 2000 milliseconds means each slide plays for 2 seconds before advancing. Additionally, enable center mode to keep the active thumbnail centered in the strip at all times, with partial previews of the adjacent thumbnails peeking in from both sides, making it immediately clear to users which slide is currently active. Then, slide spacing controls the gap between thumbnails and the strip. Keep adjusting the pixel value until the spacing looks and feels just right for your design. Finally, enable image caption to display a text caption over each thumbnail. Once enabled, a set of additional controls appears to help you customize it exactly the way you want. Placement lets you decide whether the caption appears below the thumbnail by default or overlaid directly on top of it. Enable Show on Hover to keep the caption hidden by default. It only reveals itself when the user hovers over a thumbnail, keeping your design clean and uncluttered until interaction. Text alignment lets you align the caption text horizontally, left, center, right, or justified. And vertical alignment positions it at the top, middle, or bottom of the thumbnail, giving you complete control over how your captions look and feel. In the Navigation tab, you can choose the navigation type. If you go with dots, you can position them directly on the slides or below the slides to match your design. Adjust their placement further using vertical offset control, pushing the dots up or down to sit exactly where you want them. And alignment controls how the dots sit horizontally, left, center, or right. To enhance the user interaction, you can enable the ripple effect. It creates a soft pulse when navigation dots are hovered or clicked, adding an interactive feel without overwhelming the design. There are several navigation options also to choose from. You can use a slide index to display the current slide number, a simple progress bar that shows how far the user has moved through the carousel, or an animated progress bar for a more dynamic visual indicator. You can also add navigation arrows, which you can style to fit your branding while making navigation intuitive for your users. Once enabled, position lets you place them above the slides, centered, or below. Alignment sets their horizontal placement, start, center, or end. Use spacing slider to control the gap between the two arrows, and margin adds space around them, pushing them away from the edges of the carousel. Now let's explore the slide settings. Here, you can enable infinite loop so the slider restarts automatically after the last slide. You can also turn on fade transition for smooth, elegant slide changes. Use the zoom effect to add a zoom in and zoom out motion during transitions. Don't forget to set your transition speed. For example, go with 1200 milliseconds for a fluid effect. And for an automated experience, enable Autoplay, then set the Autoplay speed to control how quickly each slide changes. You can use an extra class name for the carousel if you want more control for custom styling or targeting. Just enter a custom class name, for example, Testimonial Carousel. Then, go to the Advanced tab, open the Custom CSS section, and target that class to apply your own styles. This is especially useful when you want to customize the spacing between elements, as well as change background colors or apply any other style changes just to this specific carousel without affecting the rest of your site. Let's explore the advanced settings. Enabling draggable effect lets users swipe or drag through the slides, making the carousel more interactive, especially on mobile. To make navigation flow more seamlessly, just enable Touch Move. For a unique look, you can enable the variable width option. This allows each slide to have its own custom size instead of following a fixed width. Let's take a look at another example to see how this setting works in action. See how each slide adjusts to fit its content? That's variable width in action, giving your carousel a more dynamic and natural flow. Another useful option for keeping your carousel clean and well-structured is adaptive height. When you turn it on, the carousel adjusts its height based on the size of the image in each slide. This is helpful when your slides include content with different heights. See how the carousel smoothly resizes to fit each image? It keeps everything neat and properly aligned. Pause on hover gives users a chance to pause the carousel when they hover over it, giving them time to focus on a specific slide. Additionally, center mode enables a centered view with partial next and previous slides. Use the spacing settings to control the gap between them. You can also set breakpoints to change how the carousel looks on different devices. For example, when the screen size is below 1025px, the layout switches from desktop to tablet view. And when it's below 768px, the layout switches to mobile view. Finally, linear easing helps make the transitions between slides smoother, giving a more natural and fluid motion when moving from one slide to the next. You can use ready-made premium templates designed for the Carousel widget to build faster and more consistently. Just click the star icon, browse the available templates, pick the one you like, and click Insert. It's a simple way to get a great-looking layout in just a few clicks. And that's the Carousel widget from Premium Addons for Elementor. With so many features and customization options, the possibilities are endless. So, what will you create with it? Let us know in the comments below. If you found this tutorial helpful, give it a like, subscribe to our channel, and check out premiumaddons.com for more awesome tutorials and resources. Thanks for watching, and happy designing!